education, who can count on a pension? And there's not much dough in Social Security. I've got those out-of-sight tuition, skyrocketing oil, simply exploding healthcare, ever-rising taxes, ongoing inflation. Where the hell's my money gone, Blue? How can I retire before I expire from those? Where the hell's my money gone, Blues? Anybody lend me a few bucks?
We could all say, lend me a few bucks. Pass it around. All right, well now we are back with Right Opinions on Spreaker, and today is 4/16/15. So I hope you paid your taxes, and hope you've figured it out if you haven't. So welcome back with Mary, Teresa, Mona, Rollin, and I'm Marcia, and we're going to start with what's hot and what's not for Mary this week.
Oh, I love this one. For what's hot. New Jersey schools keep under God in Pledge of Allegiance after atheist drops court challenge deemed all bark and no bite. And I think that is wonderful. Students will now be able to recite the phrase under God in the Pledge of Allegiance. And I think that is wonderful. And then I have something a little bit different. This should be hot. I'm really, it's old news, but only because the media has dropped it, and that is the Leavenworth 10. I was talking with one of our panelist members, Mona, and it reminded me that we hadn't heard about the Leavenworth 10 for a long time. And if you don't know what that is, it's these people they put in jail, the soldiers and Marines that were doing their duty, but they were jailed because they were accused of things such as killing the terrorist without them having a day in court. And the problem with many of these Leavenworth 10 is the fact that who testified against them? They'd have one terrorist testify against these soldiers. And the last thing I saw on it was like 2012, so it's kind of went under the carpet, but I think it should be hot news yet, because there's like 4 of them out of the 10 that have been released after serving years for doing their duty. And to me, that is something that should be hot. We should still be looking at it. It's kind of like we will not forget Benghazi, and we need to not forget the Leavenworth 10, because the ones that they have released have been replaced with others. When you're protecting your brigade, you're protecting your soldiers, and you go to jail because you did your duty, something is wrong. And that's what my not hot but should
be. Well, I have a couple of them, and they're both, I have more if we, but I'll stick to just a couple of them. And they're all money related. We wonder where our money goes. Mayor Samson Steinman. If you live in Rahway, New Jersey, I'm going to pick on New Jersey, and this is not a good one, I'm sorry, Mary. But Mayor Samson Steinman, he wants to raise his salary to $72,000. He's a newly elected mayor. He was in the city council prior to that, and while he was in the city council, he cut the mayor's pay to $21,000. He said that was all they deserved. You know, they didn't work full time. But I find it funny now that he's the mayor. He wants to raise it by that's about $53,000 that he wants to jack it up. So if you live in Rahway, New Jersey, you should flood your city council. They're going to vote on it May 11th. And the other one, I'm going to jump across the country now. In Eagle Point, Oregon, a man named Gary Harrington was just sentenced to 30 days in jail and fined $1,500 for collecting rainwater on his own property. He had 3 big urn things set up, and he collected rainwater and used it. And he's been charged. They apparently have some archaic law on the books still that they are going after him on, they're considered illegal reservoirs, and you're not allowed to do that. And the one last one is on a kind of positive note, that the Tennessee House just approved a bill to make the Bible their official state book.
Yay!
It passed by a vote of 55 to 38, and now it heads to the Senate, where it's facing some fight there, but hopefully the people in Tennessee will call them up and let them know to go ahead and do that. I thought that was great.
That is great. And was that your hot knot?
Yes.
Okay, Mona, roll on.
Okay, I got a couple of things, and then I want to get back to the situation with our dearly beloved Hillary. One of the things that I was reading, and I think this is a Danish thing, but anything that starts over in Europe somehow always manages to come over here. And now what they're trying to do is they're opening up this dialogue about post-birth abortion. They are saying that now that unless a child is able to care for themselves, then they should not be considered to be a viable life form, and that if this child causes problems with the family, like the mother not being able to take care of it or whatever, that it is okay to eliminate this child. Now, that just disturbs me, because that is even beyond abortion, which I consider to be murder, no matter what the reason for it. This is absolute murder, and this is what is happening, like when Hitler did that with the poor children that had mental and physical disabilities and the aged. And Denmark is starting to say it's okay to kill your baby if you can't take care of it. The other thing is the Marine that is still imprisoned in Iran. Greta did a piece on him and was talking to his wife. And this Marine is being tortured something terribly. Some of the torture methods that they have taken with him is that they put him on lithium for quite some time. And Mary, you being in the field, know this, that they kept him on lithium for a while, and then they immediately withdrew it so he would suffer the pains of withdrawal. They told him that his mother had been killed in a wreck, which really destroyed him emotionally. They have tortured him physically. And our government and that rat-faced bum Secretary of State traitor John Kerry says, oh, we're talking about it. I'd like to talk about him. The other one is Chris Matthews, who we all know has such an enormous brain that we should just all adore him, has made the statement that Christians should never be elected for office. Well, I think bubbleheads should never be elected to office. So that eliminates Chris Matthews, in my book, from ever being able to run for office. Now, back to Scooby-Dooby-Doo. How are you? I want my group here to be my responders, and I want them to respond as Scooby-Dooby would do to some of Hillary's personal quotes. Hillary, we must stop thinking of the individual and start thinking about what is best for society.
Ruh-roh.
Yes, of course, that is truly a conservative stance, not a socialistic stance. Hillary, voting is the most precious right of every citizen, and we have a moral obligation to ensure the integrity of our voting process. Ta-da!
Ruh-roh.
Of all the parties in this country that is trying to destroy the integrity of the voting process, it's the Democratic Party, by allowing people that enter this country to be able to vote by registering for driver's licenses and not requiring voter ID. I mean, it's just... Hillary, in almost every profession, whether it's law or journalism, finance or medicine or academia, or running a small business, people rely on confidential communications to do their jobs. We count on the space of trust that confidentiality provides. When someone breaches that trust, we were all worse off for it. Ta-da!
Ruh-roh.
Many of you, Hillary, many of you are well enough off that the tax cuts may have helped you. We're saying that for America to get back on track, we're probably going to cut that short and not give it to you. We're going to take things away from you on behalf of the common good. Ta-da!
Ruh-roh.
Democracy at its best. No socialism there. Hillary, you cannot have maternal health without reproductive health. And reproductive health includes contraception and family planning and access to legal, safe abortion. Ta-da!
Ruh-roh.
I'm for choice. Pro-choice am I, says Hillary. Hillary, we would very much like to see Iran take a position as a responsible leader that doesn't intimidate or threaten or scare its neighbors and others. But the choice is really up to Iran, and we're going to keep working to try to come out with the right decision. Ta-da!
Ruh-roh.
They're going to keep on trying to come to the right decision. They got that thingamajiggy going over there that John Kerry's strutting his round, poking his chest out about, but they're going to keep on trying. Hillary, the American people are tired of liars and people who pretend to be something they're not. Ta-da!
Ruh-roh.
The biggest liar, pants on fire, saying something like that. Hillary, oftentimes when you face such an overwhelming challenge as global climate change, it can be somewhat daunting. It's kind of like trying to lose weight, which I know something about. Big butt! Ta-da!
Ruh-roh.
Hillary, I'm not going to have some reporters pawing through our papers. We are the president.
Whoa. Whoa.
I remember when she said that when Bill was president. Remember, we are the president.
Yeah.
Yep. Hillary, it is a fact that around the world, the elites of every country are making money. Ta-da!
Ruh-roh.
No joke. No joke. The elites are making money. Like whom, shall we say? Hillary?
Dead broke.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That silverware didn't bring much money.
No.
Hillary, I suppose I could have stayed home and baked cookies and had teas. Ta-da!
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh.
Why didn't you? Hillary, I am neither frustrated nor planning anything other than being the best Secretary of State I could be. Ta-da!
Ruh-roh.
Failure! Benghazi!
Nasty.
And the very last thing I have that dear Hillary the Beast, Hilly Beast, said, I have absolutely no interest in running for president again. None. I mean, I know that's hard for some people to believe, but you know, I just don't.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh.
That is the liar of the universe right there.
Right there. Okay, Roland.
Yes, well, I want to share something with you that I experienced this past weekend, which was great. I went to the Christian school that I graduated from high school 60 years ago and spent the weekend with my fellow classmates. However, that's not the important thing. The important thing was that the programs that they had was put on by the high school students themselves. And there was a lot of music, the beautiful voices, they had an orchestra, and they had groups